My best friend of 5 years just stabbed me in the back and got with my ex. And she thought I wouldn't find out, but I did. So let's do a story time. Her and I have been best friends off and on. I say off and on because she's always done things that just don't add up. But for these past 2 years, we've been solid. Like, I see her almost every single day, and when we don't see each other, we're always FaceTiming. This just happened, so I'm still freaking out. When I was with my ex, she would always insist on us three hanging out. Like, me and her couldn't hang out alone anymore. She'd always want him to come. And her excuse was, oh, because I want to get to know him and I need to make sure I like who you're with. After the first day that she actually met him, I forgot about this. She went and followed his Instagram, and she didn't even tell me that she was going to follow my boyfriend at the time. Like, she just went ahead and followed him. But why did she only like one picture? A picture of him from 2 years ago. Just of him. So I screenshotted it and sent it to her and just asked her, hey, like, why? Her excuse was, oh my gosh, I was stalking his page late last night to make sure like there was no girls. I was just trying to be a good friend to you, and I must have accidentally liked his selfie. I'm little delusional over here, and I believed her because she was my best friend. Oh, trust me, it's about to get way worse. I would always go to my job at a certain time. Like, my schedule has always been the same since I started there, and my boyfriend at the time would always bring me lunch. He told me he was craving Chipotle and he was gonna bring me Chipotle. He would always show up at the exact time I'd clock out for my lunch, but for some reason that day he was running a little late, and this is where I put pieces together. Him and I would share locations with each other, so I was easily just able to see where he was, but I also shared my locations with my best friend. It was at the same Chipotle that he was going to. So instead of watching his location, I just started watching hers. I saw her location slowly start moving towards my job. So I thought, delusional again, that they're coming to surprise me. Like, he came with her to surprise me. Until I saw her location stop down the street from my job. When my boyfriend showed up without her, I asked him, what were you guys doing together? I know you guys were together. He told me he had no idea what I was talking about and he had not seen her. So he denied it, so I went and asked her. And her story, same thing. I was not with him. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just a coincidence. She claimed that she didn't want to be in our drama and she's just going to turn her locations off permanently with me. I'm not even going to talk about him and I, but just know that we split on bad terms. But of course, when we split up, my best friend was so there for me, so supportive, and was telling me how he was trash and I didn't deserve him, and she knew all along. So how did I figure out that they've been secretly like with each other? Her and I had plans for that, and she told me that she had to cancel because her family's beach house was going to be open and no one was Airbnb-ing it. And she said that they were going to go. Normally, when she'd go to her beach house though, I'd always get invited. And this time she insisted that it's just strictly family. So I decided I'll just take myself to Target and have like a self-care pampering night. And when I was at Target, I heard my name being called from somebody behind me. It was her mom and little brother. Then she asked me, wait, why aren't you at the beach house with my best friend? Then I flipped a Uno reverse. Well, why aren't you at the beach house with my best friend? When I tell you guys how bad my stomach dropped, then her mom says, well, I know she's there because the Ring doorbell keeps like sending me notifications. When you get a gut feeling, you just know. So I asked her, pull that up right now. And sure enough, there they were. My heart is like absolutely shattered by both of them, but just mainly because my best friend could do something like that, and I just feel like actually no, that story was from Reddit, and I would definitely invite that girl to Big Hearts Only Club, which is an all-girl group here in Southern California that gets together to make genuine friendships within women. For any girl who's struggling to make genuine friendships or just finds themselves feeling like their friends could be wishy-washy on a dime, that is why I created Big Hearts Only Club, for the girls and the girls only who support one another, encourage, and uplift, and aren't like that girl, and are not like that girl. Big Hearts Only Club on Instagram. So my roommate ripped my passport and I leave for Europe in 3 days and it's still not fixed yet. So before you're like, why the fuck would they do that? That's an excellent question. That's actually the question that's been on mine and everybody else's mind that knows about the situation. Let's wind it back to the end of May, okay? I'm getting ready to go on a 1-week trip to Chicago, and my roommate and I getting like, not
like a fuck. I'm not gonna get into it, but I noticed some stuff and I contacted a healthcare professional and like they were just not happy that I did that. Midway through the Chicago trip, I get a text like, hey, we need to have a conversation. Like, I don't really want to talk about it over text, but like we need to talk about what happened before you left for the trip. I get back and we have this conversation and they're like, what you did was really mean and it was horrible and hurtful and like I don't know if our relationship is gonna recover from this. And I'm like, I'm feeling horrible in the moment. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry that it made you like feel so horrible. I was just looking out for your best interest. Couple days go by, it's like really tense and awkward in the apartment, but we end up at the same birthday party from like an old friend group of mine. Like I had gotten invited and my roommate was like close with that group of people as well through me. I'm not gonna talk about the details of this party, but the shady shit that went down was I leave the bar, I'm like having a panic attack. It was not a good night for yours truly, but I started sending this message and like, you know what, it's a sharp message, okay? It was to my roommate and I was like, this is fucked up, how could you do this, da 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 da. Which like, I mean, go me, but also like I did come down a little hard. I ended up staying at my boyfriend's that night, and then the next day I get a text. It's like, hey, so like we should definitely talk about what happened. Also, I need to see you in person because I have something I need to tell you, and it could affect your travel plan. Me and Ferber were like, what could affect my travel plans? Like we're trying to brainstorm things. I called my mom. I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. We came to the conclusion that like they were just like being dramatic. They're like, my travel plans are fine. Like I'm still going to Europe. Of course, we couldn't find a time to talk that day, so I had to stay with that for 24 hours. Which like I hate when people are like, hey, I need to tell you this thing, but like I'm not gonna tell you right now. Like you're just gonna have to sit and let your brain go doot 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 doot. Like fuck you, dude. Like my apartment and my roommate and I sit down, and then they start off by being like, you know, I'm so sorry. Like from your perspective, I can totally understand how that would have been really hurtful yesterday, and like it wasn't my intention. We're just currently in this cycle of accidentally hurting each other. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. And I'm thinking like this is the great resolve. Like we've lived together for 3 years, so I'm like, oh, like what? Now I'm like, okay, so what's gonna affect my travel plan? We're like, okay, I'm gonna tell you something, and you're probably gonna be very upset, and I just want to say that I'm sorry in advance. And I'm like, okay, like did you drink my milk? Like what's going on? And then we're like, when you went to Chicago, I was still very upset about the prior situation, so I went into your room and I found your passport book and I ripped the signature page out of it. I would pay so much money to see what my face looked like in that moment because I was just like, oh! I was just so in shock that I like couldn't really say anything, and I was like, you know what, like thank you for letting me know. Like you could have really fucked me over at TSA. And again, I was just so in shock that I just got up and I was like, I need like a minute. I was like, I just need to go in my room, I just need to sit down. And then I like text my boyfriend, I text my parents, and I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Literally sounds like book talk. Nope, it is just my life. But come back tomorrow for part 2. I hate doing that, but like I literally like need to go, so and it only gets worse. So
story time on how I lost my virginity at 14. I should have used the word V card. I feel like I've already become an oversharer with my life, and at this point, fuck it. I still want to tell this before continuing my X series, because my last X series story time, you guys were wondering about how I was talking about how I was like 15, 16 and like taking off and putting back all my clothes. Let's just get the explanation out. Okay, so if you guys been following my X series, it started when my ex had moved from my high school, and like after we started talking again and he didn't go to my high school anymore, I didn't know how I was gonna see him, so I had the bright idea to start sneaking out with him. Bitch, I don't know how. The first time I snuck out with this man, we weren't even comfortable with each other like that. If you guys were keeping up with the series, the way I explained he was in the beginning, it felt really genuine. I was comfortable in the sense that I felt like he was serious about me, but not comfortable in the way that we had like not really spent much time together before. The first time we snuck out, I had my first kiss with him, and then we snuck out a couple other times after that. Girl, we weren't even like official yet, but in my head, and I think that he thought the same thing, we knew it was like exclusive, or that's how I saw it. At this point, like I was sure the way that we were talking, the way he was towards me, I was sure I did like him and I wanted him to be my first boyfriend. I think we had been sneaking out a couple times and we were good, you know, like it was like we knew we were like together. Well, again, at least that's how I felt. I really like this relationship left me so traumatized to the point that like I really don't know the way he saw it the whole time, like all along. One day we were like texting and he was flirting with me, and I really did not know how to flirt. Like I just kind of like tried to go along with it, you know, because I had never flirted with anyone in my life before. Girl, I forgot, like I don't know exactly what he said, but I remember a text where he said, oh, we'll see about that when we see each other. And then I was like, girl, when he texted me, oh, we'll see about that when we see each other, I was like, wait, what do you mean? I was like, wait, I'm fucked? I was like, wait, what is he talking about? I was like, wait, like what does he think that I mean? Like this is what I mean by I was like young, innocent, and naive. Like I really didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I really didn't. Like this was my first boyfriend. I didn't know. So then like I was shooting bricks the whole time that we're gonna sneak out to see each other. I was like, wait, what do you mean? I was like, wait, Later on, when we had like years of dating already, I didn't even tell him none of this. Like, I never told him none of this. But then the day comes when we're gonna sneak out, and I'm like, wait, bitch, like, you can't back out of this now. Like, you were over here talking all of this stuff through freaking text. You can't back out now. When I tell you I barely even knew the meaning of sex, like, I barely knew that fucking meaning. So I was shitting brick. I really hope you guys don't see me differently after the story time, because this was me like back then. I don't even want to tell you guys the location, because obviously we were sneaking out. I was 14, he was 15. Like, bitch, where the fuck were we gonna go? Like, I don't even want to tell you guys the location, but you could only imagine it was some hood rat shit. First time was an attempt. This time that I was really fucking freaking out, because I didn't know that he meant that when he was like texting me this flirty shit. Like, I didn't know he meant that. It was 2 times, okay? This setting was even like worse than the second time. I kid you not, the only thing, I've said this before in my YouTube Q&A video, the only thing that was going through my head was what the fuck my mom and my grandma would think about me. Like, literally about to do that and get into it. That's what was going through my head. Like, I was 14. I didn't get turned on like that. I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing. Like, it was that type of thing, and I didn't realize what I was doing. I just knew I was scared as shit of what my mom and my grandma would think about me. You know how people get scared of the pain? Well, that was like the last thing in my head. I was worried about what my grandma and my mom were gonna think about me if they saw me in that moment, in that setting, in that location with that person. Oh my god. I'm gonna be a little TMI with you guys and tell you guys why it didn't happen that first time. It was because like I was literally like, I had never done that before, and it just, he couldn't make it happen. I actually do want to say this so that girls that are 14 years old aren't as naive as I was. I don't know if it was just a me thing, but like, please don't be as naive as I was. Seriously felt like I couldn't say no anymore, because like that was the person that I was like with, and I kind of like just trusted it in a way. I just felt like I couldn't say no. That night we did go home without any of that activity going on, which like in the moment I was like, damn bitch, like what the fuck were you about to do? Next time we snuck out, it actually did happen. I was 14. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I barely knew about protection. I didn't even get turned on like that in that point. That whole experience wasn't even pleasurable. It wasn't even the way you would think that your first experience is gonna be like. And that's kind of also why I wanted to tell this story, so that people don't go and do stupid shit like what I did, because you don't want your first time to be like that. So you don't want it to be in a ghetto setting. You don't want the only thing that you're thinking about in the moment is what your mom and your grandma would think about you if they saw you in that activity, girl. Because that just means you're not ready for it. And I definitely was not ready for it. I just didn't know how to say no, because I was so naive. And so like I thought that I had to, because I felt like this guy was good for me because of the way that we trauma bonded and the little things that he would do for me. I didn't know how to tell him that I wasn't ready. And I also, after that, years into dating, I also never told him how I didn't feel any type of pleasure. I never admitted that to him because I just didn't want to burst his bubble. But that's really how I felt in the moment. I look back at it and I just think about the way I was so naive, and like things could have been so different for me. My feelings for him were always like very genuine though, so I will give it that. Like, at least I didn't do it with someone who I didn't even like that or give a fuck about. I think things happen for a reason, and everything I went through with him taught me a lesson that a lot of the things that I went through with him are the reason why I am how I am now and who I am now. And let's not say, because after that first time, I did become a freakiness that one. Let's not. Anyways, I hope that other than entertaining you guys, somebody out there took this as a lesson, because I still be looking back at this and be thinking, Miriam, what the hell were you on? I was really just a young teenage naive girl who was going through personal shit, and I felt like this guy really understood me. I felt like he was really there for me. I felt like he was like everything.
This may be controversial, but here's some weird girl shit I just do not like. First would be the girls that follow your boyfriend. I'm sorry, you just want to like keep tabs on him, whatever, be friends with him. I just find that really weird. That's just so weird. Why are you still following him after we break up? Or, I can do you one even better. Why, when I tell you we're talking, I find out that the next day you're following him? I think that's just kind of weird, because any of my real friends would never do that. Also, I would never do that to someone. If they told me the guy they're talking to, I would never go follow them on Instagram. I think that's really weird. The girls that copy your every move, and I'm not just talking about, oh, like, we accidentally match. I'm talking, they copied your whole aesthetic. They have basically everything you have. They wear the exact same jewelry as you, do the same hair after you, same outfits all the time. I mean, I'm not a gatekeeper. I'll tell people where stuff is from, but the second you start doing everything I do, that's when it gets weird, and that's when I need distance. Next would be the girls that don't take down an Instagram post, or post anyways, when you tell them, hey, that photo makes me look terrible. And I'm not just talking, oh, like, you know, you can see a little bit of my double chin. I'm talking, I look horrendous in that, and you look amazing. You know, at least crop me out of it. But the friends who post it willingly knowing you hate how you look in that is kind of just weird to me. Especially, like, best friends, too. I don't know if this is personal or not, but the girl that will take your phone, take bad photos of you on purpose, and send it to the guy you like. Maybe that's just me, but that's just weird. Lastly, the girls that are supposed to be your best friend but never comment on any of your posts, ever. Never repost, never call you pretty ever. If we're friends, I'm hyping you up all the time. And I kind of expect that back, because, I mean, that's kind of what a true friend is supposed to do. I always hype up all my friends and they hype me up. You're weird if you don't.
Get ready with me for day 1 of never seeing him again. As a lot of you guys have guessed, me and my boyfriend did break up. And last night was probably one of the hardest things that either of us have ever had to do. This is what I mean when I say don't trust social media, because our relationship has never been easy, and it's really hard to accept that when you're young and in love, but there comes a point where it's just too much, and honestly neither of us deserved the relationship that we were in. This is his shirt. Last night I was supposed to give him everything back, but I just needed a shirt. And last night was so hard because it was so good. You know, you love someone when in the end you both can just be mature and set aside your differences and wish each other the best and have like one last good everything, you know? Sorry, just give me a second. I need a cry break. I just woke up. I'm not allowed to cry anymore. But I got home at 2 a.m. because neither of us could walk away. Bruh. At the end of the night, after literally like 5 hours of just crying into each other's arms, like, you feel the love so much. It's so hard to accept that you can't keep going. We've tried before. We broke up about a year ago for like 4 months, and we both really got our stuff together, but at the end of the day, there just seems to always be a pattern. We're both just at the point in our lives where we can't risk it again. Like, yes, what if, but we just can't put ourselves through any more of that. And it's so hard because like you want to change, like I want to change, like I want to keep it going. I don't want anyone else. I'm genuinely being so for real. I do not want anyone else. I don't want to talk to anyone. I want him, you know? But at the end of the day, we were both trying to force each other to be the person that we obviously weren't. Especially me. I struggle a lot in relationships. I always have. And this was my first everything, you know? Like, he was literally my first everything. So I'm trying not to feel so much self-blame right now, but literally right now I just feel like it's all my fault, you know? At the end of the day, you know, it takes 2 people to burn a relationship to the ground, and it's never been easy. In the 2 years we've known each other, it really hasn't been easy. And it makes it so hard to let go because the goods are so good, but the bads are so bad. You hang on to the good things for so long, but there becomes a point where the pain it's not worth it anymore. My boyfriend broke up with me about a week ago, and honestly, I'm so thankful he did. I would have never done it, and it really is true in the saying, loving someone is letting someone go, because we both just have to let each other go so we can be happy. Yes, we make each other happy, but we also just hold each other back from so much. Not purposely, it's out of love, but we did just really love each other so much that we just kind of destroyed ourselves, you know? I have absolutely no ill will towards him. We both wished each other the best. It's just so hard because we didn't play the future card. We just said if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, you know? But it's just so weird thinking that, like, that could be the last time everything, you know? I never thought we'd have to say goodbye. That's what was so hard. And last time we broke up, you know, we just said see you later because we knew it was for each other, but we just can't keep going. And that's the reality. I wanted it to be him and he wanted it to be me, but at the end of the day, there's gonna be someone out there for you, regardless if it is gonna be me or not. Because I think it's just hard for us losing a person that's been through everything with them. The last 2 years of my life has been the hardest years of my life I've ever had, and he's been there through all of it. And same for him. We've just cried to each other. We laughed with each other. Like, he knows everything about me. I have a lot of stuff that goes on, and it's just scary to think that there's like not a person out there that knows me the way he did. You know, I don't want to restart. And I know I didn't have to come on and post any of this or talk about any of this, but I know how hard it is to leave toxic relationships because we've never been able to. I need to heal, he needs to heal, and I want to document that process, whether it just helps me or it helps other people. This is something that's real, and it's something that people ignore and overlook. It's gonna be a roller coaster. Some days are gonna be really, really hard, and some days are gonna be really good and distraction filled. And I have so many big things coming, and I'm gonna look at them as healers and not distractions. And I just hit 1 million yesterday, and that's the day me and my boyfriend left. He's been there from the start. He's been there from before all of this, and it's always just been that like marker that we were like, so ready for. And I hit 1,000,000 yesterday and we were both so happy. Anyway, I'm ready and I'm gonna try and clean today. I just really hope you guys are understanding my emotions right now. It's gonna be so on and off. Some days I might be in my healing era, some days I might be in my sad girl era, and I have no idea how I'm gonna cope with this yet. But I am gonna be honest on my platform because this is genuinely one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through, and I know there are so many people going through it. Especially at this age, toxicity is so hard to walk away from, but at the end of the day, everyone can do it, and I want you guys to see me come out of this a better person. I love him with my whole heart. I'm sorry, the waterworks. But I could not be more thankful that we were both mature enough to last night to have one last good night and just say our goodbyes and show each other the love that we've always had and be able to leave with no regrets. I feel like we both got the closure we needed, and now it's time to start healing. So hopefully this helped you. Maybe it didn't. I'm gonna go clean my room and stuff. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace out. Love you. Bye.
In high school, I was dating this boy and he effed all of my friends. I don't want to make this a hate page about all the people that I mess with and like what the hell they did to me. But listen, we're talking our shit today. So I was dating this boy who went to a different school than me. We didn't go to the same school. I'm a girl that believes, sadly, whoever I want, I will get. And this is someone that I've wanted for like 3-4 years, okay? So when I got the chance, I took it immediately. I don't trust people, but I really seriously trusted him. Like, I felt like there was no wrongdoing that he can do. At the same time, I was just looking for someone to give me that satisfaction of wants and needs. But there were so many red flags, and I just want to tell y'all, if there's a red flag, that is a sign right there, because I had like 8 of them, and I was just like, for one, I was never posted on social media, which, like, I'm not a big person that posts my relationship on social media, but I make it known that I'm in a relationship. Red flag 2, when I posted him on social media, that shit needs to be deleted ASAP. And I was just like, oh, he doesn't like being posted on social media, it's okay. Red flag 3 was always not appropriate talking. Like, it always had to be nasty in some sort of way. Like, you can have a, hey, how was your day? He was rude to my parents when he came over. Not like rude, but he was like, he didn't have manners. So he was like, yo, pass me that shit. And I should have known, bitch, don't ever talk to my parents like that ever again. That is literally a wish to right then and there. He never ever wanted to like go out in public. It was always like my house, his house, which I wasn't allowed at his house at the time, but he was allowed at my house and we had to be downstairs. This boy that was at my school told me that he was cheating on me, and I said, no, he's not. Like, you're lying, you're a liar, you just want to break us up because you want me. That was my mindset. Bitch was Delulu. He came to my friend's house. He literally said, bitch, suck my. And I was like, I was stuck. I was like, bitch, what do I do? My friend looked at me like, girl, if you don't do it. I was like, girl, take me home. Call my mama, please. So let's just stop there. This is where the tea gets a little hot. So I'm at my friend's house and this girl DMs me. And she's like, oh, do you and this person date? And I was like, yeah, like, why? And she's like, oh, we're going to the movies on this day. She wasn't doing it in a girl, I'm letting you know type of way. She was letting me know, like, bitch, I know you guys are together, but I don't give a fuck, and I'm gonna still mess with him type energy. So I was just like, wow, I was heartbroken. I called my parents. I was like, what the heck do I do? Like, he literally is cheating on me. I stay because he's my bestie and I loved him. Even though, like, you know, he would hang up on me and say that his mom was calling, but wouldn't call back for 5 more hours. As I'm talking to, like, more of my friends about the situation, they're like, do you know that, this girl did the thing with him? Which was my friend at the time. And I was like, you're kidding. I am not a person that believes in lickbacks, but this was a lickback that needed to happen. So I did do a lickback, and I don't regret it. I'm not talking my shit to, like, be mean or, like, be hateful or spiteful. I'm talking my shit for my girls to be like, if you're dating with someone and they cheat once, best believe they're going to do it again. I seriously just want all my girls good. If you find out that your significant other's cheating, oh my god, do not act crazy. If you act crazy, it's just gonna make you look freaking psychotic. You're gonna come home, or you guys are gonna hang out, and you're gonna do something real sexy, real nice, real good, real juicy for them. Well, however your significant other cheated, portray it as a different person. Be like, so my friend told me how this one person went to this party and was up on this girl and left with her and da-da-da. And if you have proof, be like, look, show them. Show them! God, I wish I was there. I wish I was there while you guys did it, because that shit would have been so, it would have been like, in the backseat, like, girls, we all been through it. You're not alone. I promise you.
Story time of when my entire friend group fell apart in literally one day. Okay, so this was 2 years ago. So I hosted a Friendsgiving at my house, and this one guy decided to break up with his girlfriend at my party. I'm pretty sure he broke up with her outside. So she came back in and she started crying, and she ran up to my room, and I let her stay there obviously because she just got broken up with. But it's like, why are you breaking up with people at a literal gathering? That's really weird. So we were all inside my garage, like doing workouts and stuff, because we were just doing like whatever. He comes back in and he's like, guys, I have something to tell you. And so we were all having fun, so we stopped and we looked at him and we're like, okay, what do you have to tell us? And he was like, I'm moving away to Japan in 2 months. So we were all like, what the hell? And that instantly killed the mood, obviously. We were really sad that our friend was gonna move away in 2 months, which sucked. Okay, I do not remember the timeline of these events, but I just remember when we started eating, it was really, really awkward. And then at this point, while the girls upstairs and the guys downstairs, people are starting to choose sides. Some of the girls are like talking about the girl downstairs with the guy, and like some of us were talking about the guy upstairs. But I was the party host, so I was just like up and down, up and down. So then the girl leaves and she says something like, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said like, I hope you had fun, or like, I hope you something, like I hope something. And then as soon as she left, the guy started making fun of her, and it was just a really dramatic like moment. I really don't know how else to explain it. So then since we find out my friend is gonna move to Japan, we're like, okay, let's hang out a little more since you're gonna move away and we're never gonna see you again. So me, my friend, and him decide to hang out at the mall the next day, and that's when things go down. Like the things that I witnessed, that's when like the other half of the friend group like went down in flames. I'm running late for school, so
if you ever feel embarrassed, just think about the time I literally begged a girl to fight me so that everyone would think I was from the hood. My Swiftie, Lululemon loving ass, I was trying to tussle. So when I was a junior in high school, in my mind, I was Cardi B. And on top of that, it's just like all the YouTubers like Tana, they were all making story times like, oh, my first fight. So I thought it is literally a requirement that I have at least one fight before I graduate high school. So I decided my ex-best friend is the perfect choice. We would literally be so obvious that we didn't like each other. Like we were not subtle at all. We'd be like, so we rode the same bus home. So I'm boarding the bus, right? So I pass her on the bus and I see her giving me a side eye. And inside I'm like, yes, this is my moment. It's time to fight. I whip around all dramatic and I'm like, bitch, can you stop giving me side eye? And this girl, she responds back, she's like, bitch, I'm not giving you side eye. I'm like, yes, you are. So we're going back and forth about this side eye, but I'm not getting anywhere. This girl is still in her seat and I'm like, if I want this girl to throw a punch, it's gotta get a bit more serious. She had these multicolored braids that were blonde, pink, and purple. And I was like, bitch, be quiet with your Barbie dreams looking ass hair. And I literally thought I ate with that. So then eventually I'm like, come hit me, come hit me. And she doesn't, obviously. She's like, if you want to fight so bad, come hit me first yourself. I'm like, and so then I get scared. I'm like, ooh, she called me out. She caught on. Moral of the story, don't fight people.